Hey, today we're going to work on making some crates. So here is the file that I've created in Easel. This is free software from Inventables. Um, so we are going to cut these shapes out of 3mm PVC. This stuff over here, you can see it's pretty thin, but it is 2-layered. So let's get this stuff taped down. We're going to use a method involves taping the material and the backer board and putting adhesive spray on it to hold it down. It just makes it a lot easier to pick the material out once the cut is done. So let me get that set up. Alright, so we went ahead and taped down the back of the material and the backer board here as well for the X-Carve. The one blue stripe because I ran out of the wider tape and can't find the other 2 rolls I've bought recently. So we're going to use this Loctite spray adhesive, professional performance contact adhesive. You could probably use some lighter stuff if you wanted. I always try to get the funk off of the nozzle before we get going here because it does get kind of caked up. I'm sure there's a process and a procedure to avoid this, but here we are. Alright, so we're going to spray it on the material. No real rhyme or reason to the pattern, you just kind of want a decent cover. And then we're going to do the same thing on the board here. And I'm pretty far away, as you can see. This is something I kind of picked up from the forums for these machines. A lot of people do this, you know, when they're doing woodworking and things of that nature, the kind of stuff people use this machine for more than building diorama stuff. So you're going to let that sit for a minute, and then we're going to attach the 2 pieces. You don't really have to let it sit super long, but you want it to grab. Because the way we're going to cut it out, we're not going to use any tabs holding the pieces down. Makes it a lot easier to get it ready. So let's let this sit for a minute and we'll come back and stick it all together. Alright, so we got our material down and it is it's not going anywhere. It's on there super tight. We got our carriage up here ready to go. That's a hole I made by accident. And I've got the bits zeroed in on the material. So now we are ready to carve. I normally run a vacuum on this, but I want everybody to be able to see what we're doing, so I'm going to run it without the vacuum today. So we are ready to carve on our X-Carve. We are doing a 1/16 upcut bit. We've confirmed our work 0. We're going to raise the bit. And we're going to turn on the spindle. And let's start the carve. Okay, so we got the carve done. I had to go back and modify my depth a bit. I was a little off. And I know there's better ways to do what I do with this, but yeah, once again, here we are. So the cool thing about doing this process like this is I can work on these tiny pieces while they're still attached to the board without having to hold them and try not to have them fly away while I'm detailing them out. So we're going to move the carriage out of the way right now and take a look at what we've got going here. All right, so I'm gonna hit it with a vacuum real quick. Always fun and exciting when you're vacuuming. So we're going to go ahead and detail these panels out while we're here, which is really handy. Like I said, I've got giant hands and holding little bitty things is always very frustrating. So we're going to add the wood grain texture using 2 steps. First, we're going to use a, I guess it's like a copper brush. I think this is like a detailing brush for car wheels, probably from the auto parts store. So just like you would with foam, we're just gonna give it the business here, and you can see the texture starting to come in, and we can actually do it this way. The beauty of it all being laid out this way is the material is all facing the same direction. And I went ahead and cut the lines in for the boards as they would be if this was a real wooden crate. Just want to be careful not to get into the side pieces here. So this is your underlying piece. This is the base of the crate, and then this is the top piece, like the railings, I guess you'd say. So you want to be a little careful on these to make sure you're not crossing up your lines. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so I'm done with the brush, getting all the texture in from that. Now we're going to go through with this awl. This was straight at one point in time. I'm not sure what happened to it, but basically we're just going to take it and draw some more lines across here. Some squiggly lines, some straight lines, just to add another layer of texture to it. And it'll really pop once we get some paint on it. So I'm going to go through and scratch all these out, and then we'll take a look at the next step. Got all the detailing put in. Might add a little more once we get it done. It's really hard to see it on this video using this black PVC. The black PVC will definitely gain us some time, because there's really no reason to base coat anything with it being black already. So now we're going to pry these pieces up and get the glue off the back. So I'm just going to use my awl from earlier. Pull it up. Now all I've got to do is just pick this tape off the back. Instead of, normally there would be tabs. I'd have to go through and cut all the tabs and clean all those edges. But this process just really eliminates all that and makes it where all you have to do is peel this tape off, maybe clean it up a little bit from a perspective of, you know, if there's any stickies or anything on the piece you're using, because this stuff is mighty sticky, as you can see. So I'm going to pull the rest of these up and clean off the tape off the back, and then we'll be ready for assembly. I wonder why that's painted gold. Okay, here we are on the workbench now. Got all the pieces up and out. You probably see the detailing a little better now on these. So we are now going to start gluing things together. And this being PVC, we get to use PVC glue. This stuff is really kind of nasty. It smells atrocious. It only works on PVC. It basically melts the PVC together. It's very strong. bond. It's what people use on probably the pipes that bring the water into your house or out of your house. So we're going to use the PVC glue. This is what I always use. It's OD heavy duty clear. I honestly haven't tried anything else other than this stuff here. It's Aztec. It doesn't have an odor, but it doesn't work nearly as well. I bought this on request of my wife, to be honest. And if I'm sometimes I'll sit upstairs at the kitchen table and work on something while the family's around, and I'll use this instead. It doesn't hold as quickly or as well, in my opinion, but it does get the job done. But today we're going to use the OD. So let me see if I can get this camera set up where we can kind of watch what I'm doing here. All right, so these are 1, 2, 3 blocks. Got them off Amazon. I love the things. Have a set of 4 of them. They're great for holding things together. Using some cheap dollar brushes from Walmart. I think it's like 99 cents for a pack. To apply the glue, since it's a little bit tighter of a space. The 1, 2, 3 blocks really help to keep everything square. This pattern is actually something that's built into easel. There's a lot of built-in patterns and whatnot. So it's a box pattern that I've just modified a little bit to fit the needs here. The wood grain pattern can just all kind of go one direction to line all the wood up. As you can see, this PVC glue, it is a little messy, but I try to keep the mess on the inside where nobody's going to see it anyways. And sometimes just dabbing a little bit of the extra off with a paper towel is helpful to keep it neat. So as we continue just to glue on the edges here, and they have the tabs that can snap the pieces right in. So it's literally just making a box. The rectangle here will be the style we're doing for this one. So the glue is, once again, I mentioned, is pretty nasty stuff. It doesn't smell great. But once you get the box art all done there, the trim pieces go around the sides. There's a little bit of an overlap, kind of build it around and then put the end pieces on. So that is pretty good stuff to use here for the PVC. Obviously, the PVC glue. You could also use super glue to hold it together if you didn't have any PVC glue. But this really just literally melts everything together and makes it really easy to bond it all. All right, so we got the box all glued together. It's ready for paint. Took a blade and knocked these corners down just a little bit. It's actually the first time I've done this shape. I've done the square ones before, but the rectangle, this is the first time. So took a little bit of math and engineering to change the design to get it where it is. It's kind of showing you how it scales with Gomez here. It's 2 by 3 is what this one is. So you can say it this way, however you want to do it, all the way around. So it's pretty much the same on all sides. Yeah, might come up with a cross beam or an empty block one, just to add some variety, but works pretty good. I think it scales well with the figures. Let's look at some paint now. Let me take Gomez away from the paint booth. You know how the vibes are with that. So we're going to use 3 colors of paint from the Apple Barrel Company. That's right, your favorite 50-cent paint at Walmart. Works on this stuff as well. We're using 3 colors, so we're going to use the Nutmeg Brown as our base. We've got the Territorial Beige for a highlight color, and we're going to finish up with the Sun-Kissed Peach. So we're going to start out with the Nutmeg Brown. We're going to put it on a little heavier than the other 2, but not super heavy. I'm using a, I don't know, some brush, nothing special about it. And we're gonna knock a good bit of this paint off. Shout out to Priority Boxes. The beauty of it is when you get done covering with paint, you still got a pretty decent box you can use. Yeah, we're gonna need to go a lot heavier than that. Let me lay down this first coat and we'll come back and take a look. Alright, so we got the first layer of paint on, the Nutmeg Brown. Actually went over it twice with like a dry brush just to kind of give it that deep dark wood color. And this stuff dries almost instantly, so we're going to go right over it with the Territorial Beige, my favorite name of a color of paint. And that'll start to pull out some of the highlights. We're going to use the same brush even. because there's, nothing on it basically. So throw some of that on there. We're gonna wipe it off, and then just start lightly adding the layers of paint across all sides, and you can see it's really starting to pull the details out already. So let's finish this up and be back to take a look in just a minute. So after the territorial beige is laid on, you can see it's really starting to come to life here. So we're going to go ahead and hit it with this last color, this sun-kissed peach. We're actually going to use a little bit smaller brush for that, just to really get some fine highlights in it. And once again, I don't know, whatever brush I happen to have laying around is what I'm using, nothing special. So we're going to take that and just hit the high points on this and see where we land with it. All right, and there we have it, complete crate. All in all, from the time I started, it probably took me, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to do this crate from start to finish. I'd normally do them in bulk, and may offer these either as a kit or as just something available for purchase. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, either a kit where you can build these yourself out of the components we provide, or if it's something you think you might want to just buy in the future, let us know in the comments. Make sure you check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram. There's a Twitter for no reason, but there's a crate. Thanks for watching. All right, and there we have it, complete crate. All in all, from the time I started, it probably took me, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to do this crate from start to finish. I'd normally do them in bulk, and may offer these either as a kit or as just something available for purchase. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, either a kit where you can build these yourself out of the components we provide, or if it's something you think you might want to just buy in the future, let us know in the comments. Make sure you check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram. There's a Twitter for no reason, but there's a crate. Thanks for watching.